Well, good morning to my beautiful coffee beans. I am Bullhorn Betty. We're covering the case of Nancy Guthrie, but we're talking more in this episode about Chris Nanos, the sheriff. Is he a criminal? And what can we do to stop his overreach, his government overreach in the area of Pima County? Well, we've got solutions, and we're asking our audience for their help in activism at its finest. We are activists here. We fight for victims of crime. And right now, there has been a major axe to the First Amendment out there in Pima County. And we have to fight to rectify the situation.
Bullhorn Betty rocks.
Come on in, folks.
Coffee steaming, files on the table. We clocking early, hunt what's unstable. Bullhorn Betty on the curb, voice raised. Flip-flop queen with the homemade phrase. Notebook thick, got the screenshots flag. Names in red ink, every rumor, every tag. Late night live stream, screen glow on her face. Truth in her throat, got a lawman's pace. She don't blink when the threats roll through. Come see me, she says, if you think that's cute. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. Insane Asylum, that's our crew nickname. Laugh so loud while we track these names. Whiteboard wild with the webs we spin. Pen to pen, see the pattern sink in. Turbo shaking when the case goes cold. We stir it back up, won't do what we're told. Doorstep question, side eye stare. Where were you that night? We hanging right there. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. This for the faces on the milk cart labels. This for the families praying at tables. This for the names that the news won't say. We say them out loud every single day. Every day. If you're running in the dark, better feel that fear. Betty got a bullhorn right in your ear. Coffee club crazy, but we think so clear. One small town, whole world gonna hear. Hey! Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that the day gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get red
Well, good morning, my beauties. It is nice to see you this beautiful Monday morning. Manic Monday, folks. Manic Monday. We have been off. We've been dealing with a lot of emotional stuff since February. At least I have personally. In February, shortly after us doing the event for Sebastian Rogers, one of my friends, a county commissioner in my county, passed away. And then I had to come back home very quickly. I was supposed to go up to Kentucky and do some activism related to Tom Massey, which, obviously things happen for a reason, and he's moved on, and I didn't really have to spend all that much money out there in Kentucky. So we ended up coming home, and then obviously shortly thereafter, within another month or so, Tony Mathis passed away. And that was very hard for the true crime, at least the people in Sebastian's Army are affiliated with Sebastian's Army. And then, of course, just recently, we learned of Cole's passing. And of course, Mr. and Mrs. E very well named name that we know, recognized that we know through the Sebastian case and Sebastian's army. They are part of Sebastian's army. And so it's just been a very emotional several months that have been going on. So we've kind of been, lackadaisy in some of the reporting. We've been keeping accurate reporting, but obviously not rolling out with as much content as we normally do. As you can imagine, this stuff was very emotional for me and very hard to deal with, one right after another. And so I'm hopeful that we're kind of through the pain of this year. We hear that things come in threes. For me, I'm hoping this is it, right? But we will, obviously I'm waiting for another shoe to drop. So it's always an uncomfortable situation. But I digress. We kind of got a little bit away from the Nancy Guthrie case. And if you guys are not familiar with the Nancy Guthrie case, Nancy Guthrie is an 84-year-old grandmother. She's the mother of Emmy, from what I hear, Emmy nominated or Emmy awarded Savannah Guthrie, which is a co-host on the Today Show, NBC's Today Show, very well known. And we're going to get into what Savannah has done to really piss me off. And she has pissed me off, like beyond. I'm so angry right now. And it's not fair to be angry at a victim of a crime, but I am beyond pissed. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. But before we do, the focus of this live this morning is to talk about the criminal conduct of Chris Nanos. Not just criminal conduct, civil conduct. That's borderline criminal in my opinion, because I'm a First Amendment activist. So freedom of speech activist. There are, as you guys know, and people always say it all the time, Betty, you block people for speaking. I block people for being rude. I block people for being assholes. There's nothing in my channel, chat, or anything tells me I promote you being a jerk or not acting like an adult. Okay, there are consequences to your speech. We all know there are consequences to our speech, but it's not governmental consequences to our speech. We're not going to be, taken out to a gun range and pew-pewed or, thrown in a jail cell for our speech. But there are consequences to our speech, consequences of loss of job, because you have a right to work in this state and they have a right to employ your ass and a right to fire your ass too. So we have to remember that. Except if you're a government official, right? We're dealing with Chris Nanos right now that has violated I don't know how many criminal laws for the last 40 years. He is, in my opinion, with a question mark, it says criminal question mark. In my opinion, the answer is yes. This man is a common criminal. This man is no different than the people that he throws in jail. And so we've watched him violate people's rights over and over again. And now people are getting ticketed and having to deal with misdemeanors. And I told you when it got to a point where they are violating civil rights, we're stepping in. And so we need to step in a big way. We're not going to be in a big way with only 100 people doing this. This needs to be passed around. I'm going to ask the true crime content creators out there to be a part of this. But, like too many of our content creators on this platform keep their mouths shut. If you guys noticed, I have distanced myself from a lot of content creators, and it's because they don't do their job. It's not just about coming here and talking about these cases. We have been told that we're not journalists, that we don't have the same rights as journalism. I've gone to school for law, okay? I'm not an attorney, but I've worked for many attorneys. I work for federal attorneys. I have a good understanding what's in our laws, okay? And I know how to interpret them. I know how to read them. And I can tell you right now, what I've been seeing out in Pima County is horseshit. They're violating people's rights. They're not applying the law equally. There's a lot of civil rights violations I am seeing, and now enough is enough. When people start having to hire attorneys to go and fight for misdemeanor charges for sitting on a public property, you got me messed up, Mr. Sheriff Nanos. You've got me messed up. So what do we do here on the Bullhorn Betty channel is we rise up, we come together, and we start activating. And what is our activism? Our activism is to make sure that this idiot knows that we understand the law, that we have law that protects us, and that this is the law right here. Now, we're not just going to send it to Nanos. I went through this. I tried to make it a single page. I can't make it a single page. I even ran it through AI to try to condense some of the language. I can't get it at past 2 pages. This is going to cost us a little more than Summer Wells, because we don't need to just send this to Chris Nanos. We need to send this to the stupid supervisors that are allowing this asshole to stay employed, right? They had an opportunity, and I'm going to call them assholes because I think they're assholes, okay? And if my conversation, my speech bothers you, please, I'm sorry. I'm not going to change my speech today. I'm not going to change my speech today. I've put in it. If you guys are offended, please send some money to pray over me for my cuss jar. But at the end of the day, this is what's really irate, really frustrating me. And we have almost breaking news in another sense with Savannah Guthrie that we're going to get into in just a little bit as well. But at the end of the day, what the sheriff is doing and what his deputies are doing are violations of civil rights. So I have prepared a letter. I don't know if I can stick this on here. Let's see if I can get this on here so you guys can see screen. No, there's the parking stuff. Where's my green screen? Do I not have a green screen? Oop, Google Voice. That's Google Voice screen. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna have to add another screen in here. Hold on a second. Screen capture? I guess it would be a screen capture. So we'll say this is Word, because that's the document I'm going to put up here is a Word document. Okay, display window. Do we have Word? Wrong one. Hold on. We got it. There we go. All right. So I have been working on a demand letter for Pima County. It has been, obviously, I'm frustrated with what I'm seeing out there. And as a legal professional, where I'm only a paralegal in the state of Florida, if I work for an attorney, I don't work for an attorney. So I'm a legal professional. I have an AA in paralegal studies. It could be a BS, but I didn't see any point in going and getting and spending the extra money for the BS. It was too expensive, and in the state of Florida, you got more on the job training than you do anything else. So for me to go back and get a BS was a waste of time and a waste of money for a lot of variety of reasons. But I wanted to make sure that you guys see that we do have a form letter. We are going to be activating. We're going to be sending this letter out. So before we get started this morning, I want to say good morning to everybody. This is going to take a little time. I know some of you guys love me saying good morning to you, and some of you guys hate me saying good morning to you. I don't know why, but I think it's respectful when you come here to spend time with me, especially 2 hours, which is typically our show. I think it's courtesy to say hi to the people that come here and spend time with me. I feel like we're kind of like a little family, And although I've lost a few of the people that had commented earlier, we're starting with Supras. It's nice to see a Nancy body hasn't been found. No gravesite area available in order to pay respects. This community and family simply want Nancy to go away. No search party. They are not even interested in finding her. That's going to go right into some of my frustration and anger with Savannah directly, Savannah Guthrie. I'm going to be very kind and ginger with my statement, but I'm pissed off at her. I'm like beyond pissed, and I just think it's absolutely disgusting. And it's time for us to say this is not right. I'm sorry. I don't give a rat. This is why I don't like people with a lot of money. They're messed up in the head. I'm sorry. Most people that I've ever met that has a lot of money that are out in the spotlight. Let me make sure, because I think being out there in the spotlight, like in some cases, like with movie stars like Joe Pesci and they're narcissists. That's what makes them be so great at their job, right? So is Savannah messed up in the head? I don't know. I just want to tell you something that's making me almost vomit in my mouth when it comes to Savannah Guthrie. Vomit in my mouth. I'm so angry. I'm angry. But we'll get into that breaking news here in just a little bit. But I definitely agree with you, Supras. I'm really starting to have a distaste for this family, and it's sad because I don't believe the family is responsible for what happened to Nancy. But it's everything else they're doing that's pissing me off. It's everything else they're doing. So Supras, it's nice to see you. Horsey Love, Melanie, Peggy, Sonia up in the chat. Reno, it's nice to see you. Digibite, TMZ, Nancy soon. I saw the TMZ bit. I was actually using it to make sure that I wasn't going to have any technical issues because I got no videos to show you guys today. Maybe we'll dive into some videos later, but anyways, the Romper Room. It's nice to see you. Oh, Seth, good morning. It's nice to see you. I hope you are doing well. It sounds like a cliche. We are, but good morning. Maybe I should say that instead. Good morning. Or morning. Sonia, it's nice to see you. Unicorn, Indiana, it's nice to see you. Don't forget, everybody, there are a lot of people in our chat that struggle every single day, either with their own personal pain. We have the father of a missing child here. We have friends that have gone through surgeries, friends that are suffering losses with families and fighting with families, and, all kinds of just gunk that's really, filling up some of our audience members. And so for those that do pray, those that are Christians, those that are any religion that prays, right? Or just spiritual people, please keep all of these people in mind. When you're praying for yourself and your family and people, please just put a little tiny spot on the back end for everybody else, right? Put your hands specifically over the coffee club, because we got a lot of struggles in this chat. Many of the people have been with me for years. We've went through cancers, we went through deaths, we went through births, we went through a lot of things together, and people in this world struggle. And if we can just, some people don't believe in the power of prayer, some people do believe in the power of prayer, but something happens when you pray. And whether you believe it or not, people receive comfort, and they don't even know why they're receiving comfort. They receive clarity. They don't know why they're receiving clarity. They're receiving strength when they have no strength to have. They don't know where it comes from. I truly believe those comes from the powers of the prayers of others. And so if you're one of those people, please pray for the people that are struggling right now, that are being vocal about their struggles, and more importantly, the ones that aren't vocal about their struggles. That's one thing we can do. Tammy, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Melanie, Oma, Unicorn. I said hi to you, Unicorn. Danielle, it's nice to see you. Little Orange Man. Who else? Dan, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Good morning. Good morning. Swan, Vicky, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Sadie, hello, my love. Da Boss Bish is all up in here. It's nice to see you, Da Boss. I hope you are doing well. Good morning. Good morning. Jacqueline, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Who else do we have up in the chat? Pebbles. B. Betty. Good morning, ladies. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Big hugs and loves to you, too. Let's see, who else do we have here? I think just my girls. Summary, it's nice to see you. Good morning, guys. Just in case you need to find out what all of our, she doesn't have anything for see you next Tuesday. I'm just saying. I should stop. Why is my laughy button? It's not even working. There it goes. It's not even working anymore. Do I have a laughy? I have a cheer button on this one. It is nice to see you guys. Who else do we have? Arizona Raven, it's nice to see you. Mustang Sally, hey love. Crystal Pistol, KMH, peace, love, and Jeeps. Well, hello, my love. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, we got a pretty strong talking point. The real me too. I don't think I said hi to you. It's nice to see you, love. Deb, good morning. Arizona, I said hi. Rena, hello. Who else? Who else? Who else? I think we got just about everybody. Oh, just my girl. You've been part of the fam for a while, but it's nice to see ya. Good morning. Thank you for becoming the newest member of this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. It is going to be a bumpy ride. Who else do we have? Veronica, it's nice to see you. Oh, Oh, T.D. Dean. Well, howdy doody, love bug. I hope you are doing well. High Flight, it's nice to see you. Bluegrass Meadows, hey, hey, hey. Oh, it's so nice to see you. Oh, thank you, Rena. Floating Heart, love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, I think we're kind of through everybody. If I've missed somebody, I am super, super sorry. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Monday, better than most of the cases that we cover. Again, don't forget to pray for the people in our chat. There's a lot of people with a lot of struggles this morning. But I did want to go over the struggles that some of our content creators have. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Arizona. Auntie E, well, good morning, love bug. I hope you guys are doing well. Big hugs and loves for you guys. Big hugs and loves. Goya Based, it's nice to see you this morning. Good morning, good morning. Come on in, guys. We haven't gotten started yet. This is going to be our form letter for Nancy Guthrie. This is because there's been a lot of content creators that are protected under the First Amendment of the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, and every single state has a state constitution that has to resemble in part. They can be a little more, I think they can be a little more restrictive in certain areas, but for the most part, they have to follow federal law for their state law. And so we know for a fact, we are very, at least me, I'm very versed in First Amendment claims. I'm very versed in 14th Amendment claims. I'm very very well versed in, search and seizure laws. I am just, very knowledgeable on certain aspects, and some I have to research and get knowledgeable when certain things come up. And sometimes that can be, hey, Frank it up. It's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Sometimes that takes time. So when I started hearing Juice and Alec and some of the other people being harassed by Pima County Sheriff, I've been waiting and kind of just monitoring the situation to see at what point are we going to interject into this case. Because one thing is, I don't want to go through incarceration, being arrested or anything like that. But at the end of the day, does it really bother me? In honesty, no, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't bother me at this point. I've already went through one round in Sumner County. I think that was a shock to my system. That has caused me major problems, especially in my back. I haven't been the same since I've been back, right? Since being on that hard concrete. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of situations that go on around this country. And while I don't want to go through the experiences that I went through with Sumner County, I think it's emboldened me that, I have gone through this in Sumner County. My rights have been violated. My civil rights have been violated. And because of that, I refuse to allow or stand by and watch other people's civil rights to be violated. We say hell to the nanos, right? We say hell to the nanos. But we're stepping in. And so now we're going to start fighting on their terms, and we're going to start fighting diplomatically. At some point, yes, thank you. If you guys don't know who Auntie E is, Mr. and Mrs. E Crimecast. This is Mrs. Crimecast's sister, and she lost a nephew. And I had an opportunity to see all of them again and just shower them with as much love as I could muster, right? And do what we could as a family to help. So if you guys would like, we're talking about all of those prayers that everybody needs. This is a great time to say prayers, especially for the E family. We're going to be, praying for them for quite some time. And please remember, they've went through a meat grinder themselves. So we all came together for a sweet boy named Sebastian Rogers, and we've made lasting friendships, and just, they're part of our, what do they call, like, framly? I call them framly. It's like friends that are family. But there's another word for it anyways. We just love them. We just love them to death, and we just we wish we could take so much away from them, but we can't. This is a walk they're going to have to go through, and all we can do is just be there to support them, right? Just like other families. They're part of this horrible, club. It's just a sad club. One silver lining is Cole lived, and he was a beautiful, beautiful child. He was a beautiful young man, and he did great things. So anyways, I don't want to get you guys all teary-eyed, but I just wanted to say thank you, and we were able to do a lot, and I'm very proud of what we were able to do, so thank you guys. Chris Nanos has put he's been inappropriate with this whole violation of people's constitutional rights. So we're formally demanding the cessation of unconstitutional press and public access restrictions in Catalina Foothills Estates and Pima County Ordinance Section 10.40.050A. Now, we're the reason why this is going to be a little more expensive than our Summer Wells one is because this is 2 pages and it's going to require 2 envelopes. So a total of 4 pages, 2 envelopes, and 2 stamps. So it's going to be twice the cost it cost us to do Summer Wells advocacy. But this is very, very, very important. This is our form letter. So as you see, the date is blank. So if you have Word, we'll put Word as well as we'll put Word as well as a PDF. If I can put a Word in our stuff, we will do a Word document so you guys can modify it. But you guys can reach out to me to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, and we can, email you a copy of the Word so you can modify it for yourself. If you guys would like to write your own letter and not write this letter, please do it. The only thing we're doing here is for the people that don't have time to write a letter. You guys have a form letter you guys can print off and mail out. That's all it is. It's just a form letter. So I wanted to read it to you guys because I think it's important. Now, it does have legalese in here. So and actually the legalese is not properly. I've got some modifications to do on this, but either way, we'll make those modifications before I send this out. And it's just, legal modifications that look more appropriate legal wise. So we'll go through here and do all of this, but this is what it says. It says, I, concerned citizen and taxpayer. Remember, all of us, they have federal funds out there. There was a federal partnership. It's all of our money. We're all taxpayers. We all have a right. Now, listen, if counties and governments and cities and stuff don't want us for outsiders in their business, then all they have to do is decline any more federal funds, right? So when they take federal funds, they get Bullhorn Betty up their crawl, right? Because as soon as you accept that federal funds, now you're making me your taxpayer. And if I'm going to be your taxpayer, by God, you're going to follow the law, okay? So that's where we get it. So no matter how you look at it, we're all taxpayers in that community, whether you come from that community, you live in that community, or otherwise, because they get a lot of federal funds. I've looked at it myself. So just to let you know, we are all their taxpayers in that community. I've checked it out myself. It is legitimate. It is absolutely accurate. So we are concerned citizens and taxpayers. We formally demand We go back over here. We formally demand that Pima County and the Pima County Sheriff's Department immediately lift the traffic and parking restrictions imposed on public roadways in the Catalina Foothills Estates neighborhood surrounding the Nancy Guthrie residence. What began as a purported temporary measure enacted February 26 has now exceeded 90 days with no judicial authorization, no legislatively set end date, and no constitutionally sufficient basis to justify continuing exclusion of press and public from a traditional public forum. Pima County's own post sign citing Pima County Ordinance Section 10.40.050A is the sole authority confirmed that this traffic control ordinance is being deployed across 6 named public streets. I've listed all the public streets as a mechanism to suppress press access. That is, at the end of the day, why they are doing this. They are trying to suppress press access. That is constitutionally wrong. There is no law that allows them to do what they're doing. Okay? I've read this stuff, I've studied this stuff, and now I've went ahead and put this in here. Now, we did have some strong laws, but I was able to locate even stronger rulings related to these things. So I've added all of that in. Streets and sidewalks are quintessential traditional public forums, and that's covered under Frisbee versus Schultz. And this has been recognized since 1988. So very strong law related to this is recognizing residential streets as public fora subject to stringent First Amendment standards. Okay? Any government restriction in such forum must be 1, content neutral, 2, narrowly tailored to serve a significant government interest, and 3, leave open, ample alternative channels of communication. And that is what we're not seeing. And that, again, was from Frisbee and Schultz. Now we go over to Ward versus Rock Against Racism. And this was in 1989. So again, well-established laws. Pima County's months-long neighborhood-wide parking ban fails on all 3 of those prongs. Now remember, content neutral, narrowly tailored to serve significant government interests, and leave open, ample alternative channels of communication. They failed all 3 prongs. In McKellen, let me go ahead and fix this. I'm going to fix them on the fly while we're doing this. In McKellen versus Cloakley in 2014, again, a much newer law, the Supreme Court struck down a 35-foot sidewalk buffer zone as insufficiently narrowly tailored and even narrowed restrictions than the blanket multi-street exclusion imposed here, with no strong evidentiary support. The First Amendment protects the rights to photograph and record matters of public interest in an outdoor public area, including government operations on a public street. Now, always remember, you have a right to privacy in your home, okay? But if you have those curtains open and somebody stands in that street and starts recording and taking pictures, they are lawfully allowed to do that. Close your blinds. You are not afforded privacy out in a public area. Okay? So anybody that's talking about privacy, you've already lost your argument. Your privacy is on your property, not out in a public roadway. So for the law enforcement out there that doesn't understand the law, let me school you. And this goes for the FBI agents that are around here talking on these social media platforms, because you guys are talking about law. You're supposed to be enforcing the law. And then when I hear you open your mouth and you guys are saying, oh, they shouldn't be there, well, then you're not protecting the law. You're not even protecting the Constitution. Yet you're retired law enforcement. That kind of pisses me off just a little bit. Okay, because it makes me wonder, how many people's rights did you violate while you were an agent? How many people's rights did you violate while you were an agent, if that's the kind of commentary you have on these streets? It's a legitimate concern. It's a legitimate concern. So Pima County's months-long neighborhood ban fails all 3 prongs that are in the Ward versus Rock. Racism, right? And then we got McCullen and Cloakley, and this is a 2014. The Supreme Court struck down this 35-foot sidewalk buffer zone, basically saying you can't stand in this 35-foot sidewalk buffer, right? The First Amendment protects the right to photograph matters of public interest in outdoor public areas, including public operations. The Ninth Circuit has held that this right belongs to all members of the public, not only credentialed press, and that the government bears the burden of demonstrating that any restriction is narrowly tailored. They are failing. They are violating people's rights out there. This is an improper order. And if it's an improper order, you don't have to follow it. It's voidable. It cannot simply invoke generalized safety interest. Askin versus U.S. Department of Homeland Security, a 2018 precedent in the Ninth Circuit. The Ninth Circuit further recognizes Section 1983, cognizable First Amendment interest in filming matters of public interest on public roadway. So this 1983 right here that you see, this is related to civil rights, okay? This is related to civil rights. So they're basically saying this is a violation of civil rights. Now, and I don't know how to pronounce this name, Fortis versus City of Seattle, 1995, still a very well-established case law. When government restricts access to observe and document an ongoing government operations, court must apply the press enterprise qualified right to access framework and assess whether restrictions are narrowly tailored to an overriding interest. Defense to agencies' preference is insufficient. Lee versus Salazar. In Lee versus Salazar, and again, 2012, still a well-established law, Pima County's blanket indefinite exclusion satisfies none of these standards. So basically, they have no right to restrict that access. Chris Nanos has further selectively enforced those restrictions against independent live streamers, podcasters, and digital journalists while affording differential treatment to legacy media organizations, despite the fact that all enjoy identical First Amendment protections. Once the government opens a public forum to expressive or press activity, it may not be discriminated against speakers based on subject matter, message, or speaker identity. And this is the Police Department of Chicago versus Mosley, 1972. Again, well-established law. Well-established law. And Carey versus Brown, 1980. Well-established law here we're dealing with. Press credentials are not a constitutional prerequisite to First Amendment protection. Do you know how all these hate channels constantly say, oh, they're not press, they're not press, they're not media? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And this shows you we are, right? Because press credentials are not constitutional prerequisites to First Amendment protections. This despairs enforcement independently violates Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Continued enforcement of these restrictions exposes Pima County and Sheriff Nanos to civil liability under Section 42 of the USC Section 83. Again, civil rights. That's your civil rights law. For deprivation of rights secured by the First and 14th Amendment under the color of the state law. We urge immediate corrective action. We demand, 1, immediate removal of all no parking and traffic restrictions orders imposed under Pima County Ordinance 10.4.05A on the 6 named public streets in Catalina Foothill. Cessation of all selective enforcement targeting independent. Should we add the racist card in here and say the black independent streamers or the I don't know. Maybe that's too much. That's too much. Sometimes I go scorched earth, but maybe that's too much. But the cessation of all selective enforcement targeting independent live streamers, podcasters, and digital journalists differently from legacy media on any public right of way. And 3, a written response within 10 days identifying the specific legal authority upon which any continued restrictions rest, including any judicial authorization. So that is what we need to be sending to not only Pima County Sheriff, but also the supervisors in the area. I'm done. I don't know how many of you guys are done. I am done. I'm done with the nonsense going on out there. I'm done with Miss Nancy going through a freaking meat grinder every chance that this freaking idiot sheriff opens his blessed mouth. I'm tired, and I'm more tired that people have the freaking balls to keep stepping and violating on people's First Amendment constitutional rights in 2026, as if we haven't had our Constitution drilled in our freaking heads for 250 gosh darn years. 250 gosh darn years, and our sheriffs still don't quite get it? I'm angry. I'm angry about that. 250 years our country has been in existence, and we still have animals like supervisors and sheriffs that don't understand the fucking Constitution of the United States of America. Congratulations. Bomb diggity and so smart, Pima County. Fear the Bullhorn. I told you, people don't like me getting involved in shit. Like, even when I go down there. You know, they had it good. Like, the community, that I would push back. We know the law. We act in the color of the law. I do not skirt the law. I do not come close to the law. I follow the law as it is written. And if we're going to continue to go into these counties, we're going to continue to start building a legal fund, because I am not going to take this crap from sheriffs, and neither should any other content creator. You know, I've always bounced around with they have the Associated Press, and I've always bounced around with, a nonprofit for social media. And this is something that, you get a badge on your social media, or you can use a badge kind of like the Associated Press that say that I am, credentialed social media. And, obviously there's going to have to be some prerequisites that you have to cover. You can't just willy-nilly, because there's some people on here that are not, they don't claim to be journalists. They come on here to talk about whatever they're talking about. They consider themselves influencers, not journalists. And while the First Amendment does help influencers, that's not what we're here. That's not what this nonprofit would be about. It'd be more in line with credentialing our social media, like the Associated Press, credentials our media, our mainstream media. But it's one of those things that you would be paying a monthly fee or an annual fee for, and those fees would be there to protect the rights of social media. That means when we have these civil rights issues, we can start stepping in place and start getting attorneys to go fight for our interests on this platform. And that's what Associated Press did. That's why some of these channels and some of these stations have been able to be very, very big. They always go out and fight for their right to the information. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's blocked on a county level when you're trying to cover true crime that we're entitled to, information that we're entitled to that they try to withhold. And sometimes you need to get attorneys involved to get that stuff. But this is something a little bit different. This is where they're screwing with people's livelihoods. Like, Juice got a misdemeanor. He didn't get a ticket. He got a misdemeanor for sitting on a public. You got me messed up. You've got me messed up. You're criminally charging a black man for sitting in a chair on a public easement that might have touched the fucking road. I don't know who that irates, but that irates me. If you're here for First Amendment, we protect the umbrella for everybody. Not just the people we like, but for everybody. I don't know Juice, so I don't dislike him at all. I actually like the guy. I'm actually pissed off that he got a ticket. I'm actually pissed off that all the white people got warnings and he got a ticket, a misdemeanor. I'm not trying to say anything, but if the shoe fits and stuff, I'm just saying. I just found that awfully odd. Out of all the people out there, he's the one? Out of all the people out there, he's the one. I don't like that. I really don't. I think that says a lot. Real gay. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. But I at the end of the day, it comes down to what's right and what's wrong. And too many people allow emotions like, this is my street. I own a house here, so I should be able to tell you what you can do. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. And had I been out there, I would have been educating law enforcement, and I would have been educating their community about the real law, not their emotions. Okay? And at the end of the day, the only people that are violating people's rights out there, it's not them. It's not the content creators. They're not violating anybody's rights. They're having their rights violated. So I want to make sure you, as the public, understand. Because that is super, super important. Wouldn't you agree? Whether or not your rights are being violated. And so we have great case law, not just great case law, but great case law from their Ninth Circuit or Ninth District of Appeals. I'm assuming that this is Court of Appeals versus Ninth Circuit. So Ninth Circuit. I'm pretty sure that's the Circuit of Appeals. So all of these that I pulled are appellate cases. That means that they were ruled on and appealed, and they were upheld one way or another, or whatever the case may be. But the Ninth Circuit has affirmed these cases. So this is good case law to justify the position. So I'm going to be taking this and I'm going to be posting it on, can I add an attachment? Let me see if I can, hold on a second. Let me see if I can make this a PDF. I would like to just attach the PDF to our channel. Let me see if I can do that. Fudge nuggets. I just realized we have a budget workshop that's going on right now. Dad burn it. I need to get to that budget. I need to turn that on. So we're going to have to wrap this up. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize I had a... that sucks. Okay. I forgot something in my calendar, in my schedule today. That really just blows my mind. But it is what it is. We'll get through it. So if you'd like, I'm going to write, if you would like to be a part of the change, please consider copying and pasting so it's not gonna, it doesn't look, it looks like it's gonna let me attach photos, but not a PDF. So I don't know who just came. Oh, there we go. Hold on, let me cut and paste. Cut, copy. We'll paste it over here. Letter. It's not going to have any spaces in it. There's nothing I can... Well, can I do something about that? Let me see if I can just do something about that now before it gets too much. Ouch. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get this so you guys don't have to space it. Alright guys, I just posted it in our post on YouTube. Let me see if I can share this. Here we go. I got the, there we go, copy. Here we go. I'm gonna throw it in chat right now. If you guys would like to go over there and be part of the change, here you go. This is the post right there. I just scratched my, I must have had a little zit. Don't tell anybody, I must have had a little zit on my friggin' chin. I just scratched it. Ouch, ouch. Good reporting, Miss Betty. Thank you, Realgate. So this is what I think we should do. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, or, you know, I really think it would help. I do. I think when you start threatening, especially after, you got to understand that one thing we've learned about the supervisors there is they were very concerned about the spending, right? Sheriff's spending. That was one of the main things. They give him a budget, and he spent $200,000 on private labs when he could have sent stuff to Quantico for free. So we heard the supervisors, they were not happy or pleased with that decision. So we know finances are a problem for Pima County. We know that their budget is very slim, and they obviously spend a lot of money if they don't have $200,000, or they're concerned about $200,000 being spent on private labs. Because to be honest with you, we have almost, between our BOCC and our school board, we have about $2 to $3 billion budget between the two. So you can understand $200,000 to a $2 or $3 billion budget is a drop in the bucket. I mean, it's like $100 in the grand scheme of the budget. Okay. So for them to be concerned about 200,000, which is a lot of money to us, we have to consider that, you know, they're probably very slim. They're spending every single penny they make. They don't have any, they're not siloing a lot of the money. So, thank you, Robin. Going for my cuss jar. You're getting worked up. So I know it's coming. I am getting worked up. I'm pissed. I'm pissed at this whole case. I'm upset with the sheriff. I'm upset with the sheriff's department. I'm upset with the forensic department. I'm upset with the criminal investigation. I'm upset with Savannah Guthrie. I'm upset with the sheriff violating people's rights. I'm upset with the whole freaking case. And I keep trying to tell that community they are very fortunate to have such a quiet social media presence. Because if Bullhorn Betty was there, I would be there. And there's not a whole lot that sheriff is going to be able to do to contain my mouth except arrest me. So, you know, and what would that end up doing? It ended up costing the community a lot of money. So I just prefer that they just follow the law out there and quit allowing emotions to dictate what they do, because emotion is not lawful. Period. It's just not lawful. So we've got to do something. I just put the letter into the, I hope people take it. We're going to do a similar email. So I've got to locate all of the email addresses that need to be used. We need to have every single supervisor's email. We need to have Chris Nanos' email. We need to have the state attorney's email. We need to have the district attorney's email. We need to know if they have a sheriff IA department and internal investigations, internal affairs type of for sheriff and law enforcement corruption. We need to be making sure that the union, the sheriff's union or the police union out there in that community gets a copy of this for whatever they're doing. I would like to send this to the ACLU. Again, you guys know how I feel about the ACLU. I don't really care for them. I think they are a racket, and I'm going to be working to pull federal funds from the ACLU. They do not represent everybody. They have a specific type of person that they like to represent, and you're not going to get federal funds for not representing everybody and being very selective in who you represent. Typically, it has to do with a color issue. Okay, and to me, that's racism. I just denounce any type of racism, no matter how it is, whether it's black on white, whether it's white on black, whether it's Chinese on Mexican. I don't care. I am anti-racism, and there's no place in this country for it. Now, are we going to change the hearts and minds of people? No, because they're individuals and they can make decisions for themselves. We can't control other people. But what we can do is we can control ourselves. What we can do is we can stand on the right side of things. That's what we all can do. We're never going to change everybody's heart. The people that have that hate in their heart will always have that hate in their heart. But what we can do is we can constantly be changing the dynamic from generation to generation to generation. And we can start really winding some of that hate back. But it takes all of us. All of us. But it does upset me that I see all the people given warnings except one, and he happens to be the only black guy there. That makes me feel kind of dirty. I'm sorry, it just does. And of course, he's the one charged with the misdemeanor, right? That's not okay in my book. It's just not. So we've got to do something, I think, as a community. Oh, thank you. Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. That went to Linda. Welcome, Linda, to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. And it's because I'm a love machine. Ow! In my opinion, Nano's body is shaped exactly like a perp on Jan 11th picture. Oh, good gracious. He might be. He might be. I don't know. I know that what he has done, there's a few things that make me say that this man is a criminal, in my opinion. And it's because he's beaten a cuffed criminal or whatever, whatever the suspect was, he beat him while he was handcuffed with a flashlight. Okay. That type of mentality never changes in a person. Once you can do that, you do that. So it makes me wonder how many other people's rights he's violated that because he learned he can't do that again. So what else did he do instead of leaving marks, right? Instead of leaving marks, what else did he do to hurt people in his community that he didn't like? Because he's got that behavior because nobody takes a freaking flashlight and beats a cuffed person. What kind of animal does that? And then, we because, okay, well, that was 40 years ago, Betty. Come on. I mean, look at you, right? Look where you were 20 so years ago, 26 years ago. Where was I? I was freaking a piece of what, okay? All kinds of messed up young adult. Okay, so, yeah, okay, I get it. All right, so I did some terrible things when I was 20-something, 20-something years ago. Okay, so people may change. I didn't do anything like that. I never put my hands on anybody unless they put their hands on me. But boy, when you put your hands on me, it's never fun. It's never fun. But he had a cuffed person and beat them. Like, who does that? That's a coward to me. That's a coward. Then you go, okay, well, he hasn't done anything in 40 years. Nah, that's not true either. That's not true either, because 2 years after he had to resign, he went over to Pima County and lied to them on his application, and some idiot didn't check it. And now we have this guy that's lied to Pima County for 40 years. But it doesn't stop there. Now it's like, okay, well, that was still 40 years ago, Betty. Okay, you're right. It was 40 years ago. But didn't he just lie under oath saying he had never been suspended from work, knowing that he has a history in El Paso that he thought was under the radar, and that's why he lied? Isn't perjury a crime? Yes, it is. It is a crime. How about taking your Corvette and going 100 miles an hour and forcing people off the road? Is that a crime? Yes. Yes, it is. That is a crime. He did those two things recently, folks. He did those things recently. So is Pima County Sheriff a criminal? Yeah, for the first time, we have an unconvicted criminal running a sheriff's department. Now, if that's not corrupt, I don't know what is. Oh, thank you, Miss Robin. Miss Robin just gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Real Game Watcher, you're official. You're officially a member of the Bullhorn Betty channel. Look at that. Came in, and now you're part of the family. Now you're part of the fam. It's nice to see you. Thank you. TJ, it's nice to see you. He got away with it, which makes his mentality. Exactly. Yep, you're right. And that's why I think he's a pathological liar. Like when it was Mother's Day and somebody, and a reporter, independent journalist was out there and asked him, do you have anything to say to Savannah Guthrie with it being Mother's Day? And he's like, nah. How's the case? We're getting, he tells this person that they're getting close to solving the case. That's what was said back in May, the beginning of May, over a month ago. So I think him lying to everybody has gotten him ahead. That strategy of lying to everybody and telling them exactly what they want to hear has got this man to be a sheriff, a voted sheriff. So do you think he's going to stop lying at this point? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. This man has lied before. He continues to lie to this day. There's nothing going to change his behavior. He's an old dog. He's not learning new tricks, and he will always lie. Are they closer to an arrest? Well, his most recent statement, his most recent interview that he just did, in my opinion, he's still as lost as he was on day one. So do I think they're any closer to an arrest in this case? No, I don't. Why? Because he screwed the entire case up, and he keeps lying to everybody about it. That's what I don't like. Oh, Sonia. Sonia gifted a five Bullhorn Betty memberships. Now I gotta do the, because I'm a love machine. All right, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. That went to Whispered Winds. It's official. Nate Hill, it's nice to see ya. Jessens, Kim, and Sally. Oh, hold on. What does it say? Sally? Sally, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. It's nice to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys get many. Don't forget, you guys got milestones. So if you go down there to your membership, every month, you guys get one free milestone, and it puts your comment in green. So don't forget to use those. If you're not using those, you're letting those pass you by. Thank you, Miss Sonia. We appreciate your love and support. So, is Chris Nanos a criminal? My opinion is yes, he is. I think Chris Nanos should have been in jail. I think what Chris Nanos did back 40 years ago should have put him in jail. I think that the perjury should have put him in jail or have him hefty fine. But moreover, for him to be a sheriff and to be doing these things and the supervisors look the other way, I think they all should be fired. I think everybody needs to wake up in Arizona and realize you guys just got the shaft from your government. And I don't know where that's okay. It's not okay for me. I'm from Florida. Maybe Florida people are just a little crazier, but we are 100% diehards for our rights. Like, don't trample on our rights. Don't tread on me, right? And we were built to clap back, okay? Once upon a time, we dealt with the ruthlessness and the mouths of the New Yorkers, okay? Now you're going to have to deal with the mouths of the Floridians, because there's a lot of us out here that are just sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're talking about hardworking people. I used to be, I still am, a very hardworking person. I've got my stick in a lot of different pots, because it is about not just talking about these cases. A lot of people come here on these social media platforms and discuss these cases. We are more of an activism channel. So we bring a whole bunch of people together. We see a problem, we commentate. Like, we have a lot of different hats we wear. So sometimes it's commentating. For example, when it came to, what would be the case? Like, let's say the Idaho 4. The Idaho 4 was more of a search and commentating. We didn't do any activism. There was no need for activism. Law enforcement was working around the clock. Law enforcement was doing everything they could. I had no issues with law enforcement. You know, somebody like Chris McDonough's like, you know, how can the university be involved in that? You know, I don't like this. This is not how we do. You know, he's a law enforcement person. I'm not. I'm an average Joe. So we do things just a little different. So he might have problems with the actual investigation, but we weren't having problems with, you know, the government out there. We were commentating. We were trying to reduce some of the concerns, especially the parents that were around this country that didn't have their children with them, that their children were there. You know, us being out there showing them at every turn there was a cop, I think made people feel a little better. So there was a different strategy there. However, like with Quentin Simon, where they had a piece of garbage chief of police that let a woman sit in her bed for 5 weeks, sleeping, drugging, drinking, partying for 5 weeks, calling her the suspect in the crime against her son. They had plenty of evidence, and she was on probation, double probation, and could not pass a piss test. She should have been locked away in jail. She should never have had an opportunity to sleep in her bed. We brought out the stops. We brought out the bullhorns. We had people coming in. I bought people freaking hotel rooms to get their butts out there to activate. And we pushed back on that local government very, very much. They ended up arresting one of our people out there, and we went off at their, we made a huge freaking scene to the point that they released the person without even a bond. Like, they're like, we don't want these crazy people. You're not bringing this crap to our front door. Let them go. And released them because it was a bullshit charge. And they knew it. And it was never going to go anywhere. So at the end of the day, we do clap back. We do push back. I don't like being in arguments with the government. I like the government acting like they're supposed to do, handling their business like we're paying them to handle their business. And so whenever we start seeing people not utilize the resources they have, especially to throw somebody that committed homicide against their child in jail, and you can clearly see that they're drinking and drugging and abusing and doing all around F stuff, and they're on probation that says, oh, they can't do this type of stuff, then you pull them for a probation violation and you put their butts in jail. What you don't do is you don't allow, baby unalivers to sleep in their freaking bed. So we went big or went home in Savannah. We went big or went home in Savannah. And I'm very proud of the work we did. I'm sorry that there was so much hate channel involvement in there that really put the child's name on the back burner and smeared the child's name over these piece of crap drug addicts, even the grandma. And those hate channels were just supporting, because most of the hate channels are drug addicts themselves. So, and I again, my walk, right? I've cleaned up. Okay? These people have a choice to clean up every day, and they choose to scam their people, grift from their people, and go out and use it for substances. Okay? And then they sit there and they raise all kinds of money because of the drama they create for profit for their drugs. And then they spend a little bit of that money on stuff like clowns. So we've dealt with a lot of different corrupted areas in this country, but the three that stand out the most are Hawkins County, Sumner County, and Pima County. And those are the ones that we fought back for. I'm fighting right now with Sumner County lawfully and legally. We never really did a whole lot with Hawkins County, because Hawkins County didn't step on our rights. They didn't violate our rights. They were just a corrupt county because Ronnie Lawson's son was a diddler. He liked to diddle with kids at church and got caught diddling with kids. But because of the position of his father, he got a 20-year sentence and was out in 6 months. So that's the type of corruption that I'm talking about in Hawkins County. Yeah, it didn't trample on our First Amendment rights, but it surely trampled on some young children's rights. And now they have to see their abuser walking the streets freely because of a corrupted sheriff. So that was pretty corrupt. But Pima County and what they're doing, they're trying to make an arrest. They are not going as far as making an arrest, because they know that there will be 100 attorneys taking a pro bono case, or not a pro bono case, a contingency fee case, if they make an arrest. So they ticketed this guy, forcing him to now go to court and challenge it, waste a whole bunch of money because they can. So Pima County Sheriff, come waste my money. Come waste my money, because we are going to keep pushing until you guys are put in your place and understand the law. I will not stop when it comes to First Amendment protections. I will not stop when it comes to sheriffs completely screwing up a case and then still bogarting that case instead of getting it to the people that can solve it. So I don't want to hear anymore. What I want from the public out there is activism. What is going on in Pima County, whether you agree with people being out there or not, it doesn't matter. It matters whether they're following the law or not. If you don't like the laws, get off your ass and go change the blessed laws. But until that moment happens, the question is not how you feel about them being out there. It's whether they have a right to be there lawfully. And the answer is yes. And the only people harassing them, the only people violating the law, is the sheriff and the piece of shit neighbors, the few piece of shit neighbors out there that want to go and harass them. And trust me, the piece of shit neighbors that go out there and harass them, it's just a small little fraction of the overall community. So let's not get it twisted. Just let's not get it twisted. Do they have a right to be there? And the answer is yes, they do. And they have a constitutional protection that protects them being there. That is the strongest protection they have. And this sheriff here is violating their rights and laws. He's violating his own state laws. So not only do I believe he's a criminal that's violated criminal law, he's violating civil law. This man just violates. Chris Nanos is a piece of shit sheriff that needs to be taken out of office by his damn toenails. And you guys had that opportunity with your supervisors, and your supervisors poo-pooed on you. So what are you guys going to do about it in Pima County? Elections are coming up. What are you guys going to do about this criminal conduct from your sheriff and your elected officials? I'm asking. Because now it's time. Now it's time to make sure that the people that are getting out there, I'm hearing Daniel's having a hard time getting the 120,000 signatures he needs to recall Nanos. Why are the people out in Pima County not going out in droves to get this man that violates people's rights and is a criminal out of office? Allegedly, in my opinion. They cannot collect Savannah's money if they are not out searching. That is true. There is still a $1 million reward out there for any information that leads to the successful, prosecution and, of course, mom. They want mom back. Okay. So now you guys know my frustration with the sheriff. Now we have breaking news about Savannah. Why is Bullhorn Betty irate with Savannah Guthrie? If I truly believe that Savannah Guthrie is a victim, why would I ever be angry with her? Does anybody know? I'll wait. We got some time. I'm not in a rush this morning. Well, I kind of am. We have a workshop that we're supposed to be listening to, which I'm not listening to at the moment. I'll have to go back and watch the little bit I missed this morning. But we'll be wrapped up here shortly on this. Sue Ellen needs to be sued. If she called law enforcement, yeah, she does. I would have sent her a cease and desist letter. And I'm surprised because Jonathan was out there, and I'm surprised he didn't recommend those guys to send a cease and desist letter and have it certified, go down to the thing and have it certified mailed to her, tell her to stay away, or she's going to get an injunction because they feel for their safety. I turned off then when Sally threw me my emojis back some. Not BH though. Doesn't seem like an adventure with Jim or have a problem searching. They haven't gotten any. They've been harassed. Nope, everybody's been harassed out there. Everybody has been harassed out there. They think that the community truly believes they own that road. They do not. We do. Even me here, all the way here in Florida, I own that road. You own that road. They don't own that road. We own that road. Anytime a community gets federal funds, they have to answer to the federal taxpayer. They don't, and I just want to put this out there. They don't have to take federal money. They could just choose to live within their means of the budget that their community gets, but they don't. They want those federal funds. So when you decide to put your hand out to the feds, you get Bullhorn Betty and fam. Bullhorn Betty and fam. Don't get me started on Nancy's family. It's sad. Okay. Her speech yesterday was lame. I didn't even see her speech. I tried to go there, and there was only, and let's go ahead and go over why am I pissed off at Savannah Guthrie. This is why I'm pissed off at Savannah Guthrie. Right here. This is why I'm pissed off at Savannah Guthrie. You guys notice anything? Do you guys notice anything on Savannah's page? I'll just keep here. Do 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 do. She removed everything about her mom. She removed everything about her mom. So now she doesn't talk about her mom on today's show. She's cleansed her Instagram. And while she was out there, she was worried about ratings. Her Instagram following increased almost 750,000. So how do I feel about the Guthrie family? I don't feel very good about them. I've got a lot of choice words I could say. I won't. But I could. Is that her personal page? This is the only page she has. This is the page where she was communicating with the world about her mother, and she literally went through her page and deleted all the videos about her mom. Everything. She's kept one little video up of her face and, being somber. And she'll put a little emoji. This is what I got from her story. I don't know where you got, because I kept looking. This is the only thing I can see that she put out. This is it. Again, no photo of her mom. Oh my soul, it cries out. Soul, it cries out. Bring her home. What the fuck is that? Savannah, what the hell is this? I'm done. I mean, it's just frustrating to me. And we've got Nancy Grace out there saying, oh, but she's my friend, so we can't hold her accountable for her behavior. I'm over it. Where is the fight from the Guthrie family, this well-known rich family? Where's their freaking fight? They've given up on their mom. That's what I'm seeing. They've given up. I don't even know if they care. They're just tired of what? No answers from Pima County Sheriff? I mean, I don't understand what they're doing here. They're definitely not activating for their mom. They've never given us a freaking flyer. They've never paid for a damn thing to help, but they got these PIs that they're paying $500,000 for. I hope that helps you, Savannah. I have a funny feeling you're never going to be happy. Why? Because you didn't do everything you could have done to help your mom. And one was being respectful to the people that were out there searching for her to begin with. All these people that came out for you and your family that are under attack right now by Pima County Sheriff, and every time we turn around, you're removing your mother from your life. Say her name, Nancy Guthrie. And people might be pissed off that I'm coming after Savannah Guthrie, but this is bullshit. This is bullshit. I pray that she finds her mother. I can't imagine what she must be going through. But there's got to be a better way than this. And the fact that you have the biggest platform, 2 million people now. When I came to your channel, you had just shy of 1.5 million people. So you've capitalized greatly off your mother's disappearance. Greatly. Wordle hint. WTF, exactly, YouTuber. So if you guys want to know what pissed me off, that's what pissed me off. Do I believe this family is involved? I still stand behind my assessment early on that the family is not involved in this, but it doesn't change the fact that they're not doing what's right by their mother, and I don't know why. Are they scared? Are they being advised inappropriately? Do they just not care what the public impression is? Because I'm sorry, just because you're way hoity-toity all the way up there in that Eiffel Tower, Savannah, doesn't mean that people aren't going to turn on you or be disgusted by your behavior. Who removes? That's like Katie Proudfoot removing Sebastian off of her social media page. I would just like to have Nancy Grace justify this. Because Nancy Grace keeps allowing her to do things that she shunned the Proudfoot family for doing, and keeps giving it a free pass because it's Savannah Guthrie, because she's rich. And apparently she must have to live under different guidelines than the rest of us. But I've never seen a woman or any family searching for their family member and then go and remove their family member from their social media platforms. So if you guys want to know why I'm angry with Savannah Guthrie, why I'm angry with Nancy Grace, why I'm angry with all of these mainstream media talking heads that refuse to hold the same accountability from person to person. I'm tired of the double standard in mainstream media. At the end of the day, had the Proudfoots done this, had the Wells family done this, had any of the other families done this, we would be screaming from the rooftops, but because it's Savannah Guthrie, and I'm not happy. I'm not happy with this. Savannah has to do more. What she's doing is not enough. Throwing money at the problem is never the fucking solution. She knew her mother better than anybody else. She knew she was probably most likely the one paying the bills. She knows who was at the house and around her mother. We all can agree that this person didn't just pop up out of nowhere. She was targeted. Why? Because the person had to have come to her house, had to have some interaction with her. That is what most of every single expert out there has said. So this person decided to cover themselves very well, but it doesn't change the fact that they have a direct connection with Miss Guthrie some way, somehow. And when you start removing this woman's face from social media, you're indicating to the rest of the world you want us to stop talking about her. And if Savannah wants us to stop talking about her, then she doesn't care about finding her. And that right there tells me a lot about this woman, that everybody, oh, she's so sensitive and sweet. I'm sorry, she's looking to me like a manipulated biatch, right? She seems to me like she's a manipulator, that she's got something else going on in her sphere that we're not seeing here. But I am pissed off at Savannah Guthrie. I'm pissed off at her for removing her mother from her social media platforms. The hell with Savannah Guthrie and her fucking money. You know, at the end of the day, this woman raised her and gave birth to her, and she's trying to, and it does question, it does make you stop and say, why would she do that? It just doesn't make sense. And then, of course, you know what? This is the kind of crap that make people talk about the family being involved. It's this crap right here. I don't know who's advising this lady, but whoever is advising this lady, she needs to fire them. I don't believe this is who Savannah is. I believe this is from guidance from somebody, either NBC or those idiots that she hired. I don't know who it is. I don't care who it is. But Savannah, put your mother back up on. Nobody wants to see your face. Put your mother back on. Act like you're a daughter to a missing mom. Maybe design a missing person flyer. How about that? How about distribute some missing person flyers? You can afford $500,000 for some private eyes, but you can't afford a couple $100 for some flyers? I'm done. I'm done. I'm not holding back on the Guthrie family. I've been very kind to the Guthrie family. But when I went there today, because I saw a report, I was going to give you guys some updates on the case, not just the Pima County stuff, the activism stuff, but I was going to find out what we could do. And of course, it came by where somebody said Savannah Guthrie's new Instagram message about her missing mom. And they showed the photo of this missing mom post. And I'm like, that's what she wrote? That's it? And it's like, what the hell is this lady doing? Like, I'm not figuring it out. And like some of the stuff she said and did, like with her sister and stuff, listen, the poetic crap, it's got to go. Nobody's a poet, okay? That's why poets don't make a whole lot of money this day and age. Nobody's a freaking poet. So what is going on? I don't know. What I do know is that something ain't right here. The family ain't acting right. And I'm sick and tired of everybody giving the family a free freaking pass because they're a Guthrie. This is unacceptable behavior. We would be condemning any other family for this crap right here. We have. Katie Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot, for the exact same thing. How is it that we can keep comparing Sebastian's case with this case in more ways than one? Why? Enough's enough. We need to get to the bottom of it. And right now we have a sheriff that lies through his teeth and has told us the family is cleared. We got the family exhibiting behaviors that criminals exhibit. And we're all supposed to sit here and say, yay, we're making progress. Yay, Sheriff Nanos. Yay, Savannah Guthrie. I mean, we have $1 million reward, but nobody's really wanting to talk about Nancy Guthrie because everybody's getting arrested or getting ticketed for doing so. So what are they really trying to do here? Show face? Was mom more of a burden than anybody wanted to express? We've got a lot of questions. And we played the side the family's not involved. And now we're starting to see the family removing their mother every single day. And it's making us say, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right to us. This doesn't look right to us. There's something going on here, you know? And I might be very vocal and loud and smack my hands down and get people's attention and stuff like that, which is what I do very well here. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that we apply standards here. We apply standards here for every case. Those standards keep us in the good, right? If we didn't have the standards for every single case here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, we would be like this, where we're like, okay, well, it's okay for them to do this, but not for them to do this, right? And we're not like that. We set standards. We say, this is a red flag. If we see this going on in a case, this is a red flag. But how many red flags are we going to see in the Savannah Guthrie case or Nancy Guthrie case related to her children and just still keep saying, no, no, no? I don't believe they had anything specifically to do with the abduction of their mother or their mother's homicide. Okay, I'm not saying that. I've never said that. As a matter of fact, I pushed back on a lot of people that said that. But there's still something not right with the family. Like, how do strangers have more advocacy about this family's mother than a famous daughter that has a 2 million plus platform? 2 million person platform. I have to leave for class. I hope everyone, you have a great day too, Sonia. I love that you're learning. I love that. Always remember to always learn, always learn, always learn. Never stop learning. If you stop learning, life is over. Never stop learning. But we're seeing these things, and it doesn't make sense to us. This lady has more of a platform than many of us here on this on YouTube. Yet she's not using it to advocate for her mom. I feel that that's a red flag. I don't know about you, but I have seen multiple families literally develop social media because they want to still keep their child's case alive or their missing loved one's case alive when the world started moving on from the case, right? Because, I mean, look at Jen Santinello, prime example. You know, her daughter wasn't getting a lot of attention. Me and Olivia went out there. We got her daughter to go viral. The national news ultimately picked up her case, and her mom has been running social media, making sure that her daughter's case is still there. Do you think her mom went out there and started pulling photos of her daughter off her social media? No. She developed an entire channel to focus on her daughter and to help other people in the pursuit of trying to find her daughter. That's what Jen Santinello did. And then we have this well-to-do Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie, Emmy-nominated journalist, allegedly. And what does she do? She starts removing her mother from her social media. I find it sickening. I really do. I find it sickening. And I find it very, very disturbing, me personally. And then to have a little thing talking about her mom, but not even having a photo of her mom. Like her mom's missing and we don't even have photos anymore of her mom. We just get pics of random shit. I don't know about you, but that's what pissed me off with Savannah. And that's what I was talking about earlier in this case, that you guys might want to stay tuned, is what my message was. Oh, there it is. Good morning, guys. Oh my gosh, we have breaking news about Savannah. This is going to make her look like crap. I have to report the truth, but holy smokes, I am mad. It's the truth. And every time we hear somebody from any case do exactly what Savannah did, it disgusts us. And it makes us start looking squarely at them. What truly happened to Miss Nancy Guthrie? She had just turned 84. She was in a lot of pain. You know, is this mercy? Perceived mercy? You know, I told you from the beginning, I thought that this whole case, I had two theories. If it was multiple people, I believe this was a hit. If this was a single person, I believe it was sexually motivated. Those are kind of my assessments of this case. I have always maintained that I believe this is somebody that knew her or had contact with her. And that's why they went through to the extra links of covering everything up, is because this person would have been very obvious to Miss Guthrie. Again, this is just my opinion. My opinion doesn't mean a hill of beans in the real world. You know, do what you think. I think the porch guy is a woman. I don't believe it's a woman. I never did. I believe it's a dude. But, you know, when you go back and you look at this whole case and some of the behaviors of this person on, and I'll say person because there are a few people that believe it might be a woman. I'm not in that same category. I believe it's a guy. But there was a few behaviors I observed. Now, many of you guys don't know, my father was a master electrician. In my day, we were able to go to work. So I was 2 years old with my father on a job site. Okay. There wasn't the kind of laws that are there now. Like, you know, we didn't have to wear hard hats or anything. I'm pretty sure if my father did that this day and age without me having a baby hard hat on, I'm pretty sure he'd probably be in jail for child abuse or some stupid, because they regulate the shit out of us, right? They want to throw you in jail for everything anymore. But at the end of the day, you know, I was at my dad's job. So one of the very first trades I've ever learned in my life was electrical. Okay. If you ask me, can I wire a house? The answer is yes. I know how to wire a house. I know how to read blueprints. I know how to pull wire. I know how to, you guys ever know, like when your light, like one of your receptacles go out in your kitchen, your back bedroom is now, when a breaker goes on, it hits like maybe a half of a wall in your kitchen and your whole bedroom in the back. And you're like, why is this one breaker controlled? Like, that's weird, right? It's called balancing. Okay. You got to balance your break. You got to balance the breaker box. You can't have load on one side or the other. It needs to be balanced. And so, a lot of people don't understand that. I do not mess with panel boxes. So, basically my expertise is everything to the panel box, not anything else. So I can change out receptacles. I can put ceiling fans up. I can do all of this stuff. I can run wire. I can read blueprints. So new construction. And there was just a lot of behaviors that I saw this guy do. And I told you guys earlier on when we first started covering this case, which was like day two or day 3, we were covering this case. So it was February 2nd or February 3rd when we got involved in this case. And by February 10th, we saw the assailant moving around the front. And I'm telling you, it looked like the whole behavior with that shrubbery made me believe that this person could be internet, telephone, or electrical. I said that way early on. Listen to this. She had electrical work September 2025, emergency electrical work. She has over a 3,000 square foot home and her panel went down. That means she needed an entire new service change. And I'm pretty sure that her service change would have taken 2 to 3 days. I could be wrong. for that size of a house, depending on how everything was labeled and stuff like that. Because again, once they take the panel box off, you got a lot of wires just hanging out. And now you got to balance the new panel box. So she had a fried panel box on the outside of her house or the inside of her house. She had to have a new service upgrade, which I believe the panel box in her house would be most likely in the garage. That would not have been a one-man job. Okay, so that means the owner of the electrical company may not even have been on the job. It might have just been employees. That would be, as far as time, think about it. That was in September. By January, she's gone. Or the end of January. Because she went into her house on January 31st. We don't know when she was, we know when her pacemaker stopped. We don't even know if she was dead or alive when she went out of the house. Okay? We don't know. Because we never heard what happened to that pacemaker. We only know that her heart pacemaker disconnected from the app. They never told us what was observed on that app. They never told us whether she was dead or alive when she left the house. That goes to the integrity of the investigation. They keep saying to the public there's no indication that she was dead when she left the house. That's what Chris Nanos says. But I don't necessarily agree with that because we've never been disclosed those results of the pacemaker. We've never heard any more about the pacemaker, as a matter of fact, only that she has it and it was disconnected. That is to the limit of what we have related to that pacemaker. We don't know how long the people were in the house. We don't know how long she was awake just because he was observed. I mean, let's look at this timeline real quick, folks. Let's look at this timeline real quick because I think this is where we've got some issues here. Okay, because right here it says that the camera went offline at 1:47. She was dropped off and the garage door closed at 9:50. So from around 10 to about 2 a.m., so 4 hours, we have no data. No data whatsoever on what happened. We only have a camera went offline and motion detected within a half an hour of each other. How do we know that he wasn't already in the house, that he didn't already hurt Nancy Guthrie at, say, midnight? And now he's just now getting around to figuring out how he's going to get her out of the house. So now he walks around, he realizes the camera's there, he pulls the camera off, or destroys a camera in the back or in another area. Then he comes around to the front door where he is detected by motion at 2:12. And then her pacemaker is lost. How do we know this isn't the cleanup? How do we know that she wasn't already being abducted or kidnapped earlier? How do we know that they weren't already in the house and didn't tie her up or something? I mean, there are a lot of questions we have because nobody has ever explained these. We've just assumed what these things mean. We definitely can conclude or deduct that when the pacemaker lost signal, that was when she was physically removed from the house, and there's blood droplets on the outside of her door that support that. So what happened to Miss Nancy Guthrie? And what are we missing here? We're missing a lot. And I think the most important part that we're missing is when the assailant actually got there. That has never been established factually or publicly. When was the assailant there? I do have the answer for that. It's because the doorbell was never for security. A lot of people think that the doorbell and everything was for security. It was not for security. None of those cameras around her house were for security. So that's why she never had a subscription, in my opinion. Now, I'm assuming that. But I do know for a fact that those cameras were set up around her house not for security. We have a post that Miss Nancy Guthrie made. And Miss Nancy Guthrie said she wanted to get the cameras put on her house and was asking for suggestions on what camera system to use but she wanted to watch the wildlife. So she had never felt in danger in this community. She had lived in this community for decades. She felt very safe, very secure in her home. The security cameras were never for security. They were for sightseeing. They were for wildlife sightseeing. They were for, just to see what type of stuff was going on there. So I understand. I'm the same way. Like, why not the subscription? I have cameras around this house. I don't have a subscription, but I do have the sync card. So I have a 256 gig. I guess. Why can I think? Memory, storage. There we go. Storage, 156 gig storage on my sync card. Now, you can do sync cards several different ways around the house. It hooks into your internet. You can put it in secret spots. Some people even have attics that have electrical, so you have plugs up in the attics. And that's important because these are places that criminals are not going to go and take. So then eventually when your house is searched, say something happens to you, law enforcement can find your sync card, and the sync card will be in an undisclosed place. It's so small you don't even know what you're looking at, so unless you know what you're looking at. So I think that I don't have a subscription, but I do have the ability to record and capture things that are going on with my motion detector all day long from all of my cameras. That's where I'm at. So what is it? SB 1649 Arizona bill. What's that about? Hold on, let me look at the Senate bill. This is a Senate bill. That's what the SB stands for. So we have a Senate bill. Is it accompanied by a House bill? Because if it's not accompanied by a House bill, it's going to go nowhere. So we have a Senate bill 1649 Arizona. So let's read what this is. Put this up so we can all see it together. Oh, I don't want to go through this legal scan shit. I just want to read it. What does it say? Introduced by Senator Fincham. Amending Title 41, Chapter 1, Article 4, Arizona revised statements. That's so being relating to state treasurers, so it's collections of something. Be it enacted by legislature of the state of Arizona, Section 1, Title 41, Chapter 1, Article 4, Arizona Revised Statute is amended by adding Section 41-81. Does anybody know what this is about? Nanos kept referring to family's notes to make sure he brought out bullet points as directed. All staged event, in my opinion. I believe some of the stuff inside that home was staged. I'm not convinced that the entry point was the back door. Now granted, I broke into a lot of houses, not criminally. Just to be very clear, I didn't break into anybody's property criminally. But there were houses and communities that we worked on in a construction capacity, and sometimes the builder or the property manager would forget to unlock the house or whatever, and we had to get in to start our work, and sometimes we had to break in to do our job. So nothing was ever damaged, but one of the path of least resistance that we always broke into, in all fairness, was the sliding glass doors. They're easily popped out. They're easily accessible. And we heard that Nancy Guthrie left her sliding glass doors open for a breeze. And we even heard Chris Nanos speak briefly about sliding glass doors in a disclaimer to the community about not leaving them open. That they're creating a danger for themselves, to please shut their sliding glass doors. And I thought that was weird because at the time I didn't even realize she had any sliding glass doors around that house. And then lo and behold, we find out on the front corner where her bedroom was, there's a living room on, it's like a little patio right out the door, and there's a sliding glass door that goes into her master suite, and there's a sliding glass door that goes into the living room. So you had 2 different sliding glass doors right there in that corner, and I was just thinking, man, you know, those would be the easiest, especially if she had her sliding glass door open. How about the 911 call? They've never released the 911 call. We've never heard that. I'm not convinced she came back home. I'm convinced she came back home. I'm convinced that Lynette made it back to the soulmate. It's because of the fact that her watch was there, her pacemaker watch. To me, it feels like she was there. And not only that, but they probably found her clothes that she was over at her daughter's house in. So that would have implied that she changed into nighttime clothes. I do believe she came home because it seems like everybody around there, the houses do have cameras. And the difference is even though in Nancy's neighborhood, things are sporadic and covered up by, you know, the cacti and the foliage that people do leave in the front of their house. And most of these houses in the Catalina foothills are kind of set back on the property. So they have a huge front yard that can obscure the front of the house. But over in Annie and Tommaso's neighborhood, it's just the opposite. Their house is right out there by the road. The neighbors are a lot closer together. There's doorbell cameras on a lot of the homes out there that could capture clearly cars leaving and cars coming. I believe they even had a neighbor that had a camera partially on their home, the front of their home. So I'm pretty confident that they would have had, you know, during their canvassing at the beginning, they would have been able to observe Nancy Guthrie leaving with Tommaso. I'm absolutely confident that they have Tommaso and Miss Nancy in the car together. And I'm pretty confident that based upon, because this is how they find out if people are lying, they take the timeline. How long does it take to get you to the house? How long does it take you to get you back to your house? And how long were you there at the house? And then they got the indicators of the door going up at 9:48 and closing at 9:50, 2 minutes later. So they do have ways to track every single movement of Tommaso from his home to Nancy's home and from Nancy's home back to his home. So that was, you know, once I learned some things about their community and where other doorbell and other security cameras from surrounding neighborhoods were, or neighbors were, I was able to confidently say that law enforcement should have been able to have a step-by-step account for Tommaso that night, and specifically when he arrived back home. And that is super important, because if he arrived back home in the right timeline, then the chances of him having to do all these things to this lady and try to cover it up, he wouldn't have had time for that, because there was only afforded 2 minutes for him. Now, can a lot happen in 2 minutes? Yes, a lot can happen in 2 minutes. You can unalive somebody in 2 minutes. You can strangle them to death in 2 minutes. You can firearm. That takes a second. Stabbing takes a second. Sharp blade object takes a second. So there's a multitude of ways to commit homicide to an individual in under 2 minutes. But very limited do they have under 2 minutes without having blood on them, scratches all over them, or some other indicator that they were involved in the crime. So you have to realize that, yeah, we're looking at it from a very minor standpoint, because we don't have all those facts for us. But at this stage of the game, and the fact that they're cleared, it tells me that there was a good digital trail for all of them. And that digital trail didn't find anything out of the ordinary, and and coupled with the fact that they're all the other stuff that they searched as far as their text messages, search engine results, and all these other things, those all go in together with why this family was cleared. It wasn't because, I know people are saying pressured. Maybe it was they were pressured to vocalize the fact that the family was cleared. But I don't think there was pressure looking past legitimate evidence that could have made one of the family suspect. I believe truly that they looked at this from a multitude of fronts, from a forensic front to a forensic data front to the forensic front, even in the data, including the videos. The videos from the Tommaso and Annie Guthrie area, the photos and videos from there, plus the videos and photos from there, plus the fact that we can conclude that the man on the front of that house was not Tommaso. Okay, it wasn't Tommaso. Different height, different weight, and to be honest with you, Tommaso's bald. This person looked a lot younger. Tommaso's almost 50, 60 years old, around that, late 50 type area of age. The person that we observed on the outside of the house appeared to be much younger. Much younger in their movements and everything else. So as far as who actually was there, it wasn't the family. Now, does it say that we could say or conclude that the family may have hired somebody? There is a possibility of that, but let's look at that, okay? What would be involved in hiring or hiring somebody to do this, right? You need money, right? So there's going to have to be a significant amount of money pulled from somewhere, okay? Even if it was done 6 months ago, trust me, they go back years when they're doing investigations, years. So you're talking about there needs to be some type of money. There's got to be an exchange for money. There's got to be even crypto. And then there's got to be your form of communication, right? There's going to be research involved. How do you find a hitman? Okay, do you know where to find a hitman? No, of course not. So what are you going to have to do? If you really wanted to hurt somebody, you would have to look for it. That means you are now putting a digital forensic avenue of this. We're searching for a hitman in your algorithm or whatever law enforcement is going to be looking at to determine what you're doing. And that's going to be part of the forensic trail that leads you to their doorstep. So you've got those types of things going on, right? So I truly believe that it wasn't just one singular thing that cleared this family. I truly do believe they went through this family's life. I mean, you had hundreds of agents. In 30 days, you should be able to know when their female things are coming. But these are older ladies, so you guys get what I'm trying to say. I'm being a little facetious here, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. After a month with this many people up your orifices, they should have every understanding of who you are, where you're at, what kind of bank accounts. The FBI has everything on every one of us, okay? I know that they say that in America we have privacy. We do not have privacy anymore. Okay, 9/11, I think that was a Bush era. I think that was a scam. I believe our federal government was partly involved. They wanted to control us and they wanted access to our information. And the only way they were able to do it is to scare American people so bad that we gave up our privacy. And that's what brought those Twin Towers down. And I truly believe we, as in America, has lost all of our privacy. Because I can tell you from what I know with the CIA, which is not even supposed to be researching American citizens, but the CIA and the FBI absolutely can go in to a system, type our name in, and get every detail about us, including every single credit card we have open, every single phone we've ever used, every single computer we've ever used. You guys have no clue what our government knows about each and every one of us, and they still come out here and try to talk about our privacy under our Constitution. We are constitutionally protected from our government's intrusion, yet our government violated our rights years ago, back in 2001, and stole our privacy from us. And we allowed them to do it. We allowed them to do it. And I can promise you we will never get our privacy back. Anybody in our government, anybody, whether we're under investigation or not, if they have the proper credentials, can go into a computer system, type our name in, type our information in, and know everything that they're not entitled to know about each and every one of us. So I just want to put that out there because a lot of people think that this is just willy-nilly. It's not. So I truly don't think that the family is involved in this, but their behavior has been awful. If you guys want to know what not to do, let's not remove missing family members from social media. Okay? That is just disgusting. It makes us all feel dirty. And I feel really, really dirty. So guys, please go print out those papers. I'm going to print out the papers. I'm going to be sending them out to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about this letter here. I have posted it in our post section of YouTube. And this is going to the Pima County Sheriff as well as the Board of Supervisors. These are the two people that have poo-pooed on us, or the two divisions that have poo-pooed on us, the Sheriff's Department and the Board of Supervisors. So we want them to understand we're done playing their stupid games. We have rights as American citizens. We have rights as journalists, and we're sick and tired of our rights being trampled on by the likes of them. And we're also putting them on notice that we are planning on filing suit if they continue to do this. We have a right to protect our interests in this case, and that's exactly what we're doing. So what we need from all of the public, and again, I'd like to see social media content creators also either forwarding your people to this channel to pull this, or doing your own letter to Pima County. But we need more content creators on board with this. And if I don't see content creators on board with this and not really helping, but doesn't have problems, covering cases and sitting there and saying, oh, we're here for this and we're here for that, and then not be participating in something like this, it really does make me frown upon you. It really does. I really need the help. It's not even me that needs the help. Let's pull Bullhorn Betty out of this. This is not affecting me one bit. But people out there that are trying to find and help in this case are being affected. People that are running commentary on this case to keep it alive are being affected. People's constitutional and civil rights are being violated out there. And quite frankly, I cannot handle that. I will not put up with that from our freaking government. There's a few things that I will palate with my government, and there's a few things that I will not. And violating citizens' rights are one of the few things that I will go to the mattress for. So we need change in this area, and I'm asking for the community's help, the true crime community's help. Please help in this front. I will also be posting a PDF on the Bullhorn Betty channel on Facebook, because they have the palette for PDFs. So if you guys are not following the Bullhorn Betty channel on Facebook, please consider following the Bullhorn Betty channel on Facebook, and we'll get this out here. But we're done. We're done arguing with our government. We're taking our country back little by slow, and we do not have the palette for violations of people's civil rights. I don't care what aisle you're on. We are protecting the umbrella so we can all succeed in the future. And without our freedoms, without our constitutional freedoms of speech, press, and other, we are going to be a third world country. And we will be a third world country. We have to fix this. We have a right to be here. We have a right to talk about it. We have a right to pressure our government. We have all those rights. We have a right to tell our government to go kiss our ass. Okay? I'm just letting you know what our rights are here as American citizens. We're not in a third world country. We're not in Australia. We're not in Britain. We're not owned by our government. We own our government. And people out here in the real world, you guys have got to start accepting that. We are the boss. We are in charge. These assholes work for us. If they're not doing their job, fire them. Fire them. These are our employees. Let's not get it twisted. Do you guys see where your power is? You guys are all so powerful, yet you guys don't utilize that power. You own your government. Your government doesn't own you. Start acting like it. Start acting like it. So this is what we've decided to do. We've decided to go after the sheriff. We've decided to go after the supervisors. We're going to clap back. In order for us to clap back, it's got to be massive. We've got to have JLR's team on this. We've got to have Alex's team on this. We've got to have 857 Tucson. We've got to have all of them on board with this. Juice, Exploring with Jim, all of them. They all have to buy into this because they're the ones being violated out there. I'm here to help. I'm willing to help, but we need their help to push this through and to make this as big as we can get it. This has to be sent in. The only thing that made this effective in Summer Wells' case is because there was thousands of people involved. Thousands. Okay? Thousands that participated. If we only have a couple hundred, it's not going to have the impact that it needs to have. We need to have the thousands. We really do. So I'm hoping that all of you guys buy into this because we need to do this. I don't bring these types of activisms to our channel very often, but when we do bring it to our channel, it's needed, and it's needed in a big way. So hopefully we can get the buy-in from the other people out there, but this is to help them. We're coming to help them. So hopefully they understand this. Alex, 857 Tucson, Ted's Investigate. Who else was out there? There was another guy that was out there. Exploring with Jim was out there. Juice, we need you to buy into this. Yeah, I believe all will jump on board, but we need to make sure that they understand. So when you guys are in their chat, let them know we've got something going on over here. They can come here and copy and paste this. I'm happy to give them the PDF. They can go on my Facebook group. Let's go ahead and put this on Facebook. Let's go ahead and get a. Let me open a new Facebook. Okay, so Pima County Sheriff has been violating people's constitutional and civil rights, and we have had enough. Oh, that's a question mark, an exclamation mark. Where's my exclamation? There, it's up there. Please be, let's put that in cap locks. Please be part of the solution and help stop the madness. Please print and mail. Ah, come on, hands. Mail to Pima County Sheriff and Pima County Board of Supervisors. And we are going to go over here. Please tell me you guys do PDFs. Please tell me you do PDFs. Where's my PDF? Why didn't it do a PDF? I did not save this as a PDF. Give me a second, guys. Apparently I did something wrong. PDF. Okay. So it's telling me I already have a PDF in there. So we'll replace it. Let's go over here. Go back to Guthrie. Here's the PDF. Did it add it? It used to add PDFs on here. Why doesn't it do it anymore? Jeez Louise. Give me a second. I'm gonna have to take a freaking picture of it and send it because I'm stupid. Oh well. All the problems in the world. All the problems in the world. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Okay, let's get out of here. All the problems in the world. let's see what we got here. Cases, Nancy Guthrie, there we go. And then we have PDF. Where's our PDF? There it is, the demand letter. Give me a second. I'm just going to take pictures of it. Doot. Okay, we got one. Save photo. Now we got to go to the second page. I don't understand why we have to do. I remember back before because I've only deal with photos, but I know for a fact I used to put PDFs on here. I remember it like it was yesterday. Okay, so save. Whatever. Okay, that'll work. So stupid. So blessed stupid. Well, I surely do hope that Facebook is happy that we have to convert all this crap to frickin' photos because they removed some ability. All right, so Pima County Sheriff has been violating people's constitutional rights. So here's our letter. Let's do Nancy Guthrie. Let's do Savannah Guthrie since she was part of this conversation. Let's do missing Arizona. Suspect. I think that'll help. For your page. Okay. And then we'll do hashtag. What is another high profile? What is it? Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie, missing Arizona suspect for your page. And what is the last one? I don't know what I should use. Activism. No, it's never high producing. Civil rights. All right, now do we want to put it in groups? We do want to put it in groups. Bullhorn Betty. Clutch Them Pearls is always a friend of our channel. 857 Tucson. Miss Nancy Guthrie. Do we have any other missing Nancy Guthrie cases? Folders here. You would think Nancy Guthrie's would be at the top, but oh, good gracious. There's my public theories. I think that's, I can't find any other one. I know I had several more from this morning. I had like 8 from this morning, but either way, there we go. We'll put those in there and we'll start fighting back. So if you guys would like at least a copy of it or something like that, I think you could probably take the photos, put them in like AI, and then just have them produce you a PDF or a Word doc out of that with the exact same stuff. So if you guys don't feel like typing it out or whatever, or you can just print the 2 pages off and date it and sign your name at the bottom. But please note, we have 2 places that it needs to go to. It needs to go to the Sheriff's Department and the Board of Supervisors. If you guys are with your, like the ACLU or something like that, this is getting crazy. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty channel. Didn't I tell you guys need a straight jacket and a padded room to be here? You guys think I'm lying? I don't lie.
Help! I
I'm just saying.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
I'll see you in hell! Wine helps me drink. I knew that would happen, but I did it anyway. I smell fear on you.
Did somebody call my name? Oh, good. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. We're fighting back against Pima County, and we need buy-in. We need content creator buy-in to this process. So it's nice to see you, but I see that you guys are having your rights violated out there in Pima County, and so, you know, part of my activism in what we do here on the Bullhorn Betty channel is we don't just cover the cases. When we see a problem, we activate. We start doing some activism to support our rights as well as other rights. And when I start seeing, one of the things is when I start seeing people's rights being violated, I will only put up with it so much. One thing is verbal, you know, when it's verbal and stuff like that, I'm fine with it as long as there's no action by law enforcement. But when Juice got a misdemeanor and a ticket, and we heard about Alex being harassed and you being harassed, nothing was really definitive until Juice got the ticket. Now, once Juice got the ticket, there was the official violation of civil rights. So now we have a civil rights claim. I don't have it. Juice has it. But either way, they're now starting to actually violate the civil rights of people either visiting or that live there, and that's unacceptable for me. So I have prepared this form letter, and this form letter cites that we're concerned citizens and taxpayers. This is for everyone because Pima County accepts federal funds, therefore we are all taxpayers of that county. So with that being said, I've wrote this letter. I've cited good case law in here about the failures that they have and how all these things fail to meet the elements that they need to meet in order to have those signs and restrictions in the area. So not only did I write a well-written letter, a very stern letter, I also added in case law, specific case law from your jurisdiction out there to make sure that First Amendment rights and privileges, and not only that, but 14th Amendment, you know, the application of the laws equally is a problem that is going on out there. So I prepared this letter. I did find additional case law that I thought was a little bit stronger than I originally found. And then we went ahead and started drafting this letter. This letter has taken me probably about 10 hours to draft, but we were able to draft it. Now, this case law is good, and you've got some really good case law. Some case law goes all the way back to 1988. It's related to the streets and sidewalks. And so now you have established case law that's been established for decades. And of course, they bring down the elements of content neutral, narrowly tailored to serve significant government interests, and to leave ample alternative channels for communication. However, they fail to meet any of these prongs to be able to establish that area to begin with. So that's what we're doing. And so I did this form letter for everybody. If they don't have time, they're more than welcome to write their own letter if they so choose, because this is more legal ease. And they can write something. But if they don't have time and they just want to help out, then they can just print this letter out. They can add the date to the top, and then they can sign their name, print their name, sign their name, and add their email contact to make it an official letter, and then mail it off to Pima County Sheriff as well as Pima Board of Supervisors. This is an important step because it is letting the community know that they're violating the law, that we are asking them to cease this violation, and we're asking for corrective measures. If they fail to adhere to this, then comes more of legal problems for them. Now comes, we need to start finding attorneys. We need to see if somebody is willing to take this on a a contingency fee to them, because at the end of the day, they are now ruining the reputation of Juice. They've ruined the reputation of, or tried to ruin the reputation of you, Alex, and act like you guys are violating the law when you're actually acting within the law. They're the ones violating the law. So I think that this letter kind of explains all of that. And it's something that everybody needs to send in. Now, we did this in a Summer Wells case, but we had thousands of people that participated around the world. Thousands. And it was very impactful. So that's why I said, TUCSON, we need you. We need Jonathan. We need Ted Investigates, Alex, Exploring with Jim. We need everybody talking about this, because the more letters that we can send into the sheriff and the supervisors, the more impactful this will become. And that's what we're hoping for. And we haven't stopped yet. This is step 1. It's the letters. Step 2 is the emails. Step 3 is the telephone calls. So we're going to start being the boil on the ass of a politician in the county of Pima. And we're not going to stop until we have some corrective measures here. What they're doing is wrong. We support law enforcement. We're a law enforcement channel. We back the blue, but we do not back corruption. We do not back this poor behavior, people violating rights. This is the reason why people don't trust law enforcement, is because of exactly what Chris Nanos and his people are doing. And that is unacceptable in America in 2026. We are smarter now. We have a lot of tools on our side. We understand the law, and we activate, and we're activists. We're not just journalists, we're activists as well. And this is one place where I will not ever give our government one iota of room to move. Our constitutional rights are protected, and they're violating those protected rights. And that's all that needs to be said. So this is how we say it. So hopefully you guys buy into this. Again, you can go on my post and read it out thoroughly. But please, if there's anybody out there in Pima County, not just Pima County, this is worldly, okay? Anybody in the United States pays federal taxes. Our federal taxes have gone into Pima County. We're all Pima County's bosses, okay? We can't elect them, but they owe us some answers because we're footing their bills. When they were doing that search and the FBI went out to Pima County, that's our people. That's the people we all pay, okay? So we're going to be fighting right alongside of you. I don't want you guys feeling like, you guys have to bear this yourselves. But we did go into case law. We did look at the case law. The case law is on your side, not on Pima County's side, not on this supervisor's side. And it's time for the people in Pima County to voice their anger at the ballot box. If you guys keep these assholes in office, you guys look like fools. I don't know what to tell you. God bless you guys. I'm not trying to be nasty or mean, but how do you let somebody violate your rights and other residents' rights like this, and a lady lose her life because of the policies, and people vote for the same people and the same policies that lost this lady her life? That would probably irate a lot of people around this country. I'm just saying, it's time to quit voting with your popularity and going with the flow, and start voting with your conscience. What is on the ballot this year is balls and backbones. If people don't have balls and backbones to do the right thing, they don't have any place to be in our government. And everybody needs to take ownership of that, I hope. Anyways, I'm off my soapbox, guys. I got to get to my county meeting myself. We went way over my 2-hour mark. So hopefully you guys buy in. Hopefully you guys print these letters out, and hopefully you send them. Again, I try to condense it as much as possible, but this is a lot of stuff that I feel we need to hit hard on. And it's 2 pages. It needs to go to, you need to print 2 pages for Pima County Sheriff and 2 pages for Pima County Board of Supervisors. You're going to need 2 separate envelopes and 2 stamps. I know we tried to do it like we did with Summer Wells, 1 letter, 1 envelope, 1 stamp, but we couldn't with this one. So hopefully we can, together as a true crime community, protect our true crime content creators. We have to protect the umbrella, guys. We've got to protect the umbrella. That umbrella protects all of us, okay? So this is one of those things where we need the buy-in from the community, so I hope you guys buy in. Anyways, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless, and we'll see you guys soon. She knows my outro. You guys hear that little bell? Every time I do my outro, she comes running in here. Come here. Come here. Say hi. Come on. Come. There you go. There she is. Say hi. Hi, Coffee Club. I'm ready for my mommy back. I want to go play BALL. She's my little baby. She's my little crime fighter. Actually, she's not. She's become what should I say? A lap dog. She's not a crime fighter anymore. She's a licky Lou. She's a licky Lou. Summer of Love 2.0. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys do well today. Hopefully, you guys have some time to print this off, sign it, and get this mailed out. I'd really appreciate it, and we'll chat soon. I'm going to be printing this off myself and sending that out here in the near future. It'll be out today, but it's not going to be right this moment. So I'm going to take Delilah out and have fun with her real quick. Because she's been such a good little girl the whole entire show. And now she's at my feet saying, Mommy, 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 I need to go out. So we're going to take her out. Anyways, we'll see you guys soon. We'll see you guys back here later this afternoon. God bless.